everyone, and welcome back to the Crystallina Perspective. So today is Mental Health Monday, and I know I've been telling you guys that I will make a video with my supporter. That is still going to happen. However, I am asking for everyone to please say a special prayer for my mental health supporter because she lost her grandmother this past week, as well as continue to pray for some of my other supporters who have lost grandparents and family members. So my supporters are kind of going through a little issue right now. Not issue, but they're going through some sad times right now. So just please pray for them. So until we have that video, today we are going to talk about picking a therapist and why having a therapist is important. So if you guys have not watched my previous Mental Health Monday videos, you need to watch those because I tell the honest truth. I talk about it, we get down to the nitty gritty, and I feel like they're very informative. So I've linked them all down below. Go check them out, binge watch, get you some popcorn, whatever. Do what you need to do. There are some helpful links in the description box. If you know somebody or you yourself need the resources, basically they're listed below in the description box. So without further ado, we will get into this video. So you guys, picking a therapist, it's very essential and important to any type of mental health issue, disorder that you or your loved one or whomever may have. So in 2016, you guys all know my story. I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and I went through a few therapists. Now, I was given therapists at the facility. However, those weren't like my permanent people. So after I got done staying in the mental hospital, after I got done with the outpatient program at the hospital, I then had homework, which any mental health disorder person has homework. Their homework consists of three things. I feel like everything with me has three things. Anyway, but three things. So thing number one is to get better. Not saying that you need to automatically get better, but your homework is to utilize whatever you've been taught in the mental health hospital or from your provider who has diagnosed you with this disorder. Your number one thing is to get better. So you're using resources, coping skills, all those things to get better. The number two thing is being responsible and taking your medication. Some mental health disorder people don't have medication, but the last time I checked, for the most part, there is some form of medication involved, whether that's medication to help with your moods, to help with anxiety, to help you sleep, whatever the case may be. Your homework is for you to adequately and effectively take your medication like they explained it and educated you on it when you receive your diagnosis. And the third homework item that you have to do once you find out you have a mental health disorder or once you leave a mental health facility is, aside from getting caregivers and support, but to always never stop learning. That's like your three homework things. Basically taking care of yourself, utilizing coping skills, doing whatever you can to manage your mental health disorder. 2, taking your medications, making sure you follow the regimen, how they tell you to follow it. And 3, making sure that you have a support system, you're in support groups, you have a therapist. So, borderline personality disorder is one of those disorders that's kind of understood, kind of not understood, but it's just like any of them. You need a therapist. For some mental health disorders, the therapy varies. But for borderline personality disorder, it is important that you utilize some form of talk therapy, whether that's in a group, individually, whatever. So at the time when I was first diagnosed, I was a little bit embarrassed and I didn't really feel comfortable with the group setting. So I got an individual therapist. Now, I got a therapist before I was officially diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And that was because if you watch my first video, you kind of know my background, you know my job. So my therapist, I loved her. Basically, she was a very knowledgeable lady. She didn't belittle me. You want a therapist that you connect with. Mental health is a very difficult topic. So the number one thing when it comes to picking a therapist is someone that you connect with. It is very, very important that you connect with this person. And the reason why I say connect, I'm not saying they have to be your best friend or anything, but you have to feel safe and secure enough to want to talk to them or therapy isn't gonna work. So I connected with this therapist. She was the bomb.com. She helped things to make sense. She slowed down my thoughts. However, when things did get out of hand, she was the one who recommended me to the mental hospital, told me about it, told me that they had inpatient and outpatient programs. And I decided to do the outpatient program, but eventually went inpatient, then got back in the outpatient program. But it was because I had a therapist that I connected with. So when it comes to picking a therapist, it is important that you pick someone that you can connect with, someone you feel comfortable with, someone that you could, it's kind of like a best friend, but not really. Like, you want to be able to tell your deepest, darkest secrets to this person, because part of your borderline personality disorder problem is that you haven't been able to talk to anybody about the issues that you've been facing, nor have you felt comfortable enough with talking to someone. So the number one thing to picking a therapist is building a connection, having a connection. Now, I was with this therapist for about a year and a half maybe, and then my insurance changed. Boo. Like, that devastated me. So I went through this phase where I was looking for a therapist, did not find anyone for like a year that I connected with, and I basically was kind of circling the drain emotionally, because with borderline personality disorder, talk therapy is important because you're learning how to work through the emotions. So most of the time, the emotions is talking them out with your therapist. And all the other therapists I went to wanted to just give me worksheets. Now, before anybody jump on my case, worksheets are cool. They help you think. They put things out of your head on paper. But when you have stayed in a mental hospital, you're basically doing that, if not twice a day, once a day, 3 times a day. In my case, where I was at, we were doing it 4 times a day. People were asking you how you felt. Well, we're going to do this worksheet. So let's do this. Let's do that. You don't want to do no worksheet. Just being honest. I really wanted to get the emotions and thoughts out of my head, and I wanted to work it out and talk about it. And I couldn't do that with any of the therapists that I tried to work with. I tried to work with therapists that were a part of my EAP program at work. Connection wasn't there. I went to one of the bigger facilities here. Connection wasn't there. And then I found this really, really teeny tiny small psychiatric facility. And they had a psychiatrist there as well as a therapist. And magic happened. Not only did I connect with the therapist, I also connected with my psychiatrist, which would be another video. But I kind of experienced talk therapy through both of them, which was phenomenal, like amazing. That lady is still my therapist to this day. She is no longer with that organization. She has her own organization where she does therapy and counseling and all those things. But hey, she my therapist. That's my girl. I go to her. She helped me get the stuff out of my head. She helped me talk about it. She helped me deal with the emotions. And you know what? I ain't ashamed to tell nobody because I'm not manic. I've had a mania episode last year, but as far as this year, your girl ain't had no mania episodes. Hey, woo, yeah. Sorry, that is a milestone for me because I have these out of body experiences where I get really angry, and I tend to take my anger out on people that I shouldn't, and it caused me to have a really bad blow up, and I get really manic, and we'll talk about those things in another video. But I have a connection with my therapist, which is basically the point that I wanted you guys to get, was you have to have a connection with your therapist. So the second thing to picking a therapist is picking someone that is flexible. Now, while it's all cool for those people that work from home and they're entrepreneurs, kudos to you. And when I say entrepreneurs, I'm not talking about entrepreneurs like me, people that are, trying to start your small business on the side and then you still got a big job that you work in. I'm talking about true entrepreneurs where they make their own schedule. Well, everybody don't have that. That's cool. I'm gonna eventually get to that point. But you need to find you a therapist that's flexible, because at the end of the day, you still got work, school, whatever. And those things don't stop. So my therapist is so awesome because she do Saturday therapy sessions. She do Saturday therapy sessions for groups, individuals, couples, what have you. And that works perfectly for me because some of you may or may not know, your girl is a nurse. I work Monday through Friday, 8 hours. Be killing me, man. I need to go back to working 12s. But I work Monday through Friday, and honestly, depending on the day, I just want to come home and chill, or I just don't have time, or I pick up at some of my PRN jobs and I can't through the week. So by her having those Saturday sessions and being flexible, that works perfectly for me. So you want to have a therapist that you can connect with and that's flexible. And the last tidbit of finding a therapist that I want to iterate on this Mental Health Monday is you want to definitely get you someone who knows what they're talking about. Now, I know everyone has to start somewhere, but you want someone that's going to have experience with your condition. So, for example, although I've had PTSD in the past, I wouldn't go to a therapist that specializes in that because that is not something that I need. So you need a therapist that works in your area, if that makes sense. So like my therapist, she works with people who have depression, borderline personality disorder, bipolar 1 and 2, and anxiety. There are other therapists in her practice that do PTSD. They do EMDR studies. They do other type of studies with those clients. They do therapy around being very obsessive and compulsive. I don't need that. And the reason why I say that is that you need a therapist that is tailored to your condition, that can help you battle your condition, and that can help you work through whatever it is that you need to work through. Your therapist doesn't have to be this well-rounded person that knows everything. I prefer to have someone that's specialized in my area, so they know how to listen to me. They know how to talk to me. They know the proper crisis techniques if I'm in crisis when I'm there. They know what to do when I'm ready to just jump out the freaking window and be like, I'm done with this. I'm jumping. I'm done. That's it. They know what to do to help me. So the third thing, as I've stated, is that you want a therapist that's specialized or have training in your mental health disorder. Same thing with psychiatrists. And I will do a video on picking a psychiatrist. But that's going to double over for both. You want someone that works with your mental health disorder because you want them to be able to help you. Not being selfish or anything to the other mental health disorders, but I don't have the other mental health disorders. So I need you to help me deal with my emotions because I have borderline personality disorder. And I need you to help me to understand why I am so emotional and why I'm bawling my eyes out for no apparent reason sometimes. Now, I do bawl my eyes out for other true reasons, but just having borderline personality, just being honest with you guys, I've always kind of been a big crybaby, but I'm really a big crybaby. It's just, I can see something sad and I'm crying, or I can just be sitting there and bust out crying. It just kind of depends on where my mood is at and how I've been dealing with things. So I need a therapist that's going to help me with those things. I don't need the therapist that is going to tell me about, well, we're going to focus on this traumatic event. I'm not having a traumatic event right now. With borderline personality disorder, to me, everything is traumatic. So that's not going to help me, because with PTSD, there's a certain type of therapeutic training that those therapists do. So you want to have someone that specializes in your mental health disorder. So to recap everything from today's video, 1, you want to find you a therapist that you connect with. Connection is everything. If you don't connect with them, therapy is pretty much going to be pointless and you're pretty much not going to get anything accomplished. 2, when it comes to your therapist, you want someone that's going to be flexible. And I'm not saying they have to have the best schedule, but you're wanting to be able to make sure that you can get to your appointments. Because if they have hours and you can't get to therapy within those hours, then that's not the best or most effective form of therapy for you. And 3, okay, I'm a little hyped today. I had a little Starbucks and it really got me going, guys. So, I'm sorry. 3, you want a therapist who specializes in your mental health disorder. You want them to be able to help you. You're not belittling other mental health disorders, but you need someone that specializes in what you're dealing with so they can help you deal with it. So, guys, that is my Mental Health Monday talk for today. I really hope these videos are informative for you guys. I hope and pray that you're getting something out of them. And I'm just really sharing my experiences with you guys. I am in no means know everything, because I don't. Hence the reason why I got stuff listed below if you need further information about something. But I do want to share as much as possible about mental health and how to deal with it, as well as let's break the stigma. Break the stigma. Like, mental health is just like any other physical disorder. And it is something that I have slowly over time, I've been growing really passionate about it, because mentally, physically, you can have your whole physical being, but if you're not mentally okay, it's not going to even matter, because, not being mentally together and not having clear mental sanity can cause people to do some crazy things. And y'all see the world that we're in. People are doing crazier and crazier things by the day. Not saying they are crazy. Remember, we talked about the word crazy. But just saying that sometimes because people's mental sanity isn't okay, they do things. I'm not saying that's always the case, but a majority of the time it is. So, guys, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Please comment, inbox me if you have any questions, concerns. And if there are any other videos that you guys are interested in seeing, please drop them below, DM me, whatever. Also, please follow me on all my social media sites. I am on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and IG. And I'll list all those accounts below for you guys to pretty much indulge in my fun, fantastic, interesting borderline personality life. And until next week,